Hello and welcome to another vacuum video here on my channel on YouTube. In my last video I did a little bit of a showing of the Windsor Sensor XP 15 commercial upright that I use in my custodian position at the Lewistown Area School District in Lewistown, Pennsylvania. I clean the second floor in the Maple Avenue Middle School, and I currently use a Windsor Sensor XP 15 upright, as I've shown in the last video. I showed a little bit of it. It wasn't like a full detailed video. It's just like really quick. I showed how how easy it is for the bag to take out and show you how it works, how the brush head goes up and down, automatically, of course, thanks to the onboard sensor feature that the vacuum has. And I briefly mentioned another vacuum that I had used before. I think the week before I got to use the Windsor, and that was the Minuteman Phenom. Here's the vacuum right here. Oh wait, that's the 18-inch. There we go. That's the one. This is the Minuteman. I think I briefly mentioned in the last video. I didn't really go into detail about that one. So this is kind of like, I guess you could say it's like a comparison between the two machines. What I like about each, and like some of the pros and cons that I've experienced with the two machines. I'll go over some of the pros about the Minuteman vacuum that I use, as seen in this video. The Minuteman vacuum does have a nice long wand. The wand has a nice handle grip, so I can easily pull it out, and I can extend the wand and go along the edges, or pick up like larger debris that maybe the power head can't get, or use the dusting brush and dust off like bits of pencil shavings or dirt on the tables at school. So that was a nice little feature I liked. I also like the fact that it has a stretch hose, and so you can stretch out a little bit and get into nooks and crannies or whatever it's needed. It does feel very solidly built. The bags are so kind of easy to change. I say kind of, and I'll explain that in a minute. It's quiet. It is nice and quiet. I like the fact that it has little lights on. It has a red light and green light on the power head. That basically shows that's concerning the brush roll. So, like, under normal operation, if the light's green, it means the brush is working properly. I think if it gets jammed up or something, which I think I only managed to do once by accident, the light will turn red. I'm not sure if that also means if indicates if the brush roll is worn or not. I'm not sure. There's also another indicator light for the bag. That's a good way to indicate if it's really clogged. But most time, if it's clogged up, you'll probably might notice as you're vacuuming if it's not working right. So that's some of the features that I do like about it. Plus, it has a nice long cord. You can easily wrap it up and clip it on. So that's some of the nice features that the vacuum does have. But I also have some cons about the vacuum that I've used, and there's some that I noticed. And let me turn on the fan. Doesn't get too hot in here. So if you hear any background noise, that's the fan. Some of the cons I've had with about the vacuum that I noticed while using it. It is kind of heavy. It's if you try carrying it by the main handle, it feels really heavy. You have to grip it, at the front, in the middle, to make it easier to carry. I also noticed that with the Minuteman, it was kind of hard to push it a little bit on some of the carpeted surfaces. Again, I think that could be concerning the weight. Your arm might get tired if you're pushing and pulling this vacuum for long periods of time. On the second floor that I work at, and I clean it where I clean the offices and the library, some of the teachers' classrooms, bathrooms, everything. There's a bunch of carpet. Like the library is carpeted. Some of the classrooms are carpeted. Sections, there's hallway sections. I think like 7th graders is carpeted, and so I would use that a lot on that carpeted section. I also have a backpack vac, but I've tried that before, and I just switched back to an upright because it's easier from more accustomed to that. And like I said, I noticed it was harder to push. Some. Excuse me, sorry about that. Just had a little bit of a burp. Just had dinner not too long ago. Notice it's kind of hard to push. Sometimes I had to adjust the height adjustment to try to make it a little bit easier to push, and that could be because of the weight of the machine. Most of the weight is in the base of the vacuum, where the motor and everything is at. So it could be kind of harder to push and pull, especially if the bag starts to fill up. You might notice a little bit more of a weight. Also, I noticed with the power head, if you have like small little scraps of paper on the carpet, and I mean like small little scraps, nothing to clog up the vacuum or where you have to physically pick it up, put it in a trash can. But if it's like small little bits of paper, I noticed sometimes it would snowplow, meaning it would just push that piece of paper along, wouldn't go in the vacuum. And so many times I had to take the vacuum and lift it up and put it over like a piece of paper for it to pick up. And I know that sounds kind of silly because most vacuums wouldn't have that issue, but apparently with this one, it seems to have that issue. I'm not sure why. It could be because of the way the sole plate back, where is designed. Like, it could be the way the bottom of the vacuum is designed. And also notice regarding the brush roll, there was a couple times where I've had to clean out the brush roll. It gets wrapped up with hair and strings and such. It's kind of normal if you're working in school. I noticed with that it was actually kind of difficult to take the brush roll out. There's sometimes where I had to take a key or some kind of like a screwdriver or something to pry off the metal bearing piece to be able to try to get the brush roll out. I would sometimes try to grab the bristles and try to tug at the brush roll or pull on the brush roll to get it out, and it was kind of difficult to do that. And then plus getting it back in, the way it's designed is there's a little how do I explain it? I don't want to say pulley, but there's a little piece where it directly turns the brush roll is hex shaped, and so the inside of the brush roll where it hook connects directly to the hex shaped piece, which is connected to the brush roll motor, pulley system, belt system, whatever you want to call it. That's also hex shaped, and so you have to line it up just right for it to fit in. So sometimes it's a little bit finicky to put the brush roll back in at times, and so that's some of the cons I've had with it. The pedal, the foot release pedal is mostly just plastic, and so if you're not too careful, it could break. I never had it happen, but there's a possibility where it could break. I think I've used a Tasky vacuum, and here I'll show you what I'm talking about. If you've never heard of Tasky, I think it's kind of a new brand that had come out, I think, just a few years ago. Here's the Tasky I'm referring to. And as you can see, it looks just kind of like a lot like the Minuteman Vacuum. They call it Tasky Jet. And I'll do a video on that too, to explain, to do more on the Tasky Vacuum. But that's what I'm sure I was talking about. But the Minuteman, like I said, the handle release pedal could very easily break if you're not too careful. Sometimes I've had to get try to recline the handle fully down, and so we had to press. So you'd have to press on the pedal again to make it go all the way down. And that may not sound like an inconvenience for some people. Some people are just used to it, but I know. So if I'm getting under desks or something, it could be a little bit of a hassle. And for the bag, like I said, the bag is kind of easy to change. It's it's not too hard. Once you get you can get the hang of it kind of easily with the bag, with the way it's set up. But I've also noticed with the bags that it uses, there's no max fill line, so you kind of have to judge, use your best judgment on how full the vacuum bag gets before you change it, and so it could be very easy to overfill the bag if you're not too careful. Most times, like I said, if you're a janitor, or if you're a custodian, if you're a housekeeper, or if you run if you do a cleaning service, if you clean houses, or if you do carpet cleaning, where you would use a vacuum to pre-vacuum the carpets before you shampoo and buzz vacuum. Sometimes it can be very easy for the bag to get pretty full, and you may not realize it because you could be in a hurry, because you'd be busy getting the job done or something like that. It'd be kind of easy can be easy to get it too full, because again, there's no max fill line to kind of show you, how full the bag can get before you have to change it. And so that's some of the pros and cons about the Minuteman vacuum that I've used. I currently now use the Windsor Sensor XP 15, and in fact looks just like this, blue and white. I actually kind of like that color scheme, blue and white. I know it kind of looks old-fashioned, it kind of looks retro, looks like something from the 80s and 90s, but it's actually a good vacuum. And I think today kind of looks like this, blue and yellow. That's because Windsor got bought by Karcher. But anyway, the Windsor Sensor, I love this vacuum, and I'll tell you why I love this vacuum. I'll tell you some of the pros and cons of that too. The sensor, for the pros, it's very easy to push and pull the vacuum, and I think there's two reasons why. I think one reason is the automatic electronic height adjustment. It's called sensor because it has, especially for the XP15, it has two lights for the brush roll, or at least three lights. Two lights are one for up and one for down. And so if you go to a different pile of carpet, it'll automatically adjust up, or down to match that pile of carpet. So you get consistent performance on all carpet types. But also, if you put it in an upright position, like I showed in the previous video, it'll go all the way up. So that way the brush rolls up and off the floor, so you can use your attachments and not to worry about the brush, hitting the carpet and having premature brush wear over time. The brush roll, or I should say brush rolls on the XP15, because there's two pieces. There's the main brush roll, which is like 12 inches or something like that, and there's also a smaller smaller stubby brush roll to add a little bit extra width to the power head. Those are the brush roll setup on this is incredibly easy to take out and clean. No tools are required. You just press the button. You take off the little cover pieces, for each side. You pull out the brush roll. The brush rolls, or if you have the XP15, if it's XP12, which is just smaller width, same machine but smaller width, is just one. It's very easy. You can clean out the brush roll, clean off all the hair and string and put it back in, put everything back on, and it's good to go. And also notice that the Windsor has stiffer bristles than the Minuteman. And I think that's kind of neat, because that's will allow it to dig deeper into carpets, especially deeper pile carpets, for it to clean. The bag is incredibly easy to change. If you like I have shown in the previous video, and I will put a link have a link in that description for you. It should be in the description. Well, will be in the description because I'm going to put it in there before I upload it. That's because I'm talking as recording right now. But anyway, the bag is it's very easy to take out and change, so there's no hassle in putting the bag in. It's very easy. It's also very easy to change the filter inside the bag compartment. Take it out, throw it away. Pop the new one in. Put the bag door cover back on and latch it in place, and it's ready to go. Also, again, the hose, also very easy to use as a stretch hose. I like that it has a handle, just kind of like the handle on the vacuum itself. And I know you're kind of staring at the picture. I'm doing a screenshot of this. It's, again, very easy. I can pull it out, pick up pieces of debris that might be too big for the head or something like that, and just put it back on it. It's ready to go. The attachment, both attachments on board has a crevice tool and an upholstery tool. It doesn't have a dusting brush for some reason, whereas the Minuteman has a crevice tool, dusting brush, but no upholstery tool. I'm not sure why. But anyway, so it's very simple, very easy to use. The attachments, the on-off switch is at the handle, which is nice. Very easy to turn on and off the vacuum. The release pedal is metal, so it's more durable. I really like that. And also, it has a little switch for the handle release pedal, so you can have it where, if you're going over barriers or going over a fringe rug, you can have the vacuum head lift up as you recline the handle down further, and the head can lift up, or you can have a switch set to where it can just go all the way down, where you don't have to press the pedal a second time. So I really like that kind of feature as well. Again, for carpet pickup, I've had no issues with carpet pickup. Little bits of paper, whatever, debris just picks it up. No issues whatsoever. If anything's a little too large, I'll just take a hose and suck up debris with that. And like I said, I think it's easy to push and pull, probably because I think most of the weight of the vacuum is at the power head. But it seems to have a center of gravity. I think it's at the base of the head. But again, it seems to be easier to push and pull. Could be because it's lightweight, or it could be the way the head's designed. If I'd had to say for any disadvantages, well, I think the only disadvantage I could find with the Windsor so far is if you have it upright and where it heads all the way up, when you recline back, it does take several seconds for it to slowly get to the correct height of the carpet. It's not very quick, but again, just a minor little nuisance. Not really anything big. I get kind of used to it. I just wait for it to, to get to the correct height, and I just go. But that's pretty much, that's pretty much the pros and cons of the Windsor as well as the Minuteman. I'll show the Minuteman again. So for me, I just like the Windsor Sensor just a little bit better. I think it suits me better for the task at hand. Comes to vacuuming classrooms, hallways. It just for me, it's easier for me to use, and it's something I really like. They're both well built, and I think the Windsor Sensor is incredibly well built. And also, one fact I really like is that it's easy to repair. Not that I've had to repair it so far, but I do like the fact that if something happens, like if the power switch goes bad or if the cord gets damaged, you can easily replace the whole handle assembly instead of having to try to tear apart the machine to replace the cord or replace the switch. You can just replace the whole handle with where the cord's attached, so you can just replace the whole assembly. Take off the old assembly, pop on a new one, and you're good to go. Same thing with brush rolls. If the brush rolls get worn, you can easily slide out the old brush roll, throw it away, and put on a new brush roll. Bag's easy to change, filter's easy to change. very easy to repair. If something goes wrong with it, it's pretty easy to repair. I've, again, like I said, have not had any issues with it so far, and I don't expect any issues with the ones I have, that I'm currently using. The one I'm using, the blue, which is blue and white, it is an older sort of older model, but I think that it should work pretty well. And I really think that the maintenance department at the school I work at, I think should get more of the Windsor sensors. I just think they just work a little bit better for for vacuuming classrooms, hallways, stuff like that. But that's just my personal preference. So tell me what you think. If you're a janitor or custodian, or if you're just a vacuum enthusiast / geek or nerd like me, which one do you like? Do you like the Windsor? Do you like the Minuteman? Or do you like the Tasky, which I'll do a video on that. Feel free to drop a comment below. Feel free to rate. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it. Feel free to subscribe and ring the bell if you want to get notifications of when I upload videos. And there you go. And I'll do, like I said, I'll do another video for the Tasky, and actually we'll do videos on this for showing off the SIBO line of vacuums, which neat little fact, Windsor and SIBO, I think, are made by the same brand, made by the same company. I think Windsor vacuums are excuse me, I think are made by SIBO. And I'll show you why, but I'll do a video on that. But anyway, feel free to rate, comment, subscribe, and join me for the next video.